Okay, so this is the second video in the supply and demand lesson. The first lesson we looked at strictly at supply and demand, creating that graph and getting your supply and demand lines graphed correctly, finding equilibrium. So in this lesson, we're going to use those same graphs, but we're going to be adding in a shift in supply or a shift in demand. So let's look at what that means. So first off, let's look at supply and talk about what can shift supply other than price, right? So when you create your supply and demand graph, you are looking at the relationship between price and the quantity provided at that price, right? So here is your supply and demand graph. Let's say so 475 is your price, and they're going to supply, the quantity supplied is going to be 30. If you increase that price, then naturally the supply is going to increase because producers are making more to maximize their profits. That's what we learned in the last video. So this is your supply line. It is a movement along this line as the price changes. Now, what we're doing is we are shifting that line. We are saying, okay, price is going to stay the same, but something's causing supply to go up or causing supply to go out, even though the price doesn't change. So watch, this is your price. So at 3,000, their quantity supplied is 5. Okay, now price stays the same. If you shift that line for some reason, you are now, their price is the same, but you're supplying 4, right? You see that? So what would cause the price to stay the same, but the amount to be supplied to be less? Or the opposite, what would cause, again, here you are at 3,000, this is equilibrium, but then something happens and there's a shift. So at 3,000, you're now supplying 6. You're supplying more. No change in price, because remember, a change in price is up and down the line. We're adding a whole new line and keeping price the same. So what would cause this shift? And there's not too many things. You can see an increase in sellers, right? The number of people that are around. The price stays the same, but somebody moves into town and opens up a pizza restaurant, right? He's going to charge the same amount for that pizza, but there's more supply in the neighborhood because there's another pizza chain. So an increase in sellers. Lower cost for production, right? Technology increases the amount that can be produced at the same cost, right? So your price is not going to change, but they can make a lot more. Prices substitutes. If you can substitute something out for it, that's if the price of a substitute rate rises or falls, that's going to change your supply because people are going to move to the cheaper option depending on what is happening to that substitute. Weather, right? That's pretty common that you have an apple farm and a tornado comes through and knocks out all the apples. There's a decline in the number of apples available. Now the price that's not changing the price. It doesn't change the price of the apples. It just changes the amount that's available. Now the price might change after the fact, but the original issue is that the supply is changing. And that's what you want to show. You want to show, okay, well, here is your original price, and then something happened to cause that supply to move inward or move outward. If you move to the right, now I'm like, if you're reading a book, you read a book from left to right. So if you move from your original price out to the right, that is an increase in supply. So you need to show that whatever's happening is causing an increase. Now, again, if you're here and you need to show that whatever is happening is causing a decrease in supply by moving left. So a shift to the right is an increase in supply. A shift to the left is a decrease in supply. And so you're going to be given a scenario and it's going to tell you what's going on, and you have to think, okay, is that changing supply? How is that affecting supply? Is supply going down or supply going up? And then you have to draw this second line to show you understand what's happening. So the other Of course, the other line is demand. Again, so demand works this way. Price, quantity demanded. If it moves up and down this line, that's a change in price. But we're not looking at that. We're looking at the price is staying the same, but something's causing demand to shift outside of price. It's either going to shift right or left. Things that can shift right or cause it to shift right or left are things like income, right? If I get a raise, then I'm going to buy more, right? My demand goes up. Trends and taste. Sometimes people want tall boots, sometimes people want short boots, sometimes people want red sweaters, sometimes people want blue sweaters. So that is a change in demand that has nothing to do with the price of the boots or the price of the sweater. Populations go up, populations come down. That also increases demand. I lived in a town that was very much based upon an Air Force base. Demand was really, really high when the airport base was opened, and then the Air Force base got moved, and so demand plummeted for all those businesses. Their prices didn't change, the demand went away. Football games, right? On a football weekend, demand goes way up, right? The prices don't change for the dress in the window or the food, but the demand for that food does because the population has changed. So again, we're looking at the difference between changing price to change demand versus outside forces that are changing demand. I hope that helps. This is the graph. This graph is what I'm looking for.